masculine ego. People come up wanting pictures from you doing things, and you were ready to fight him in the early days.
Yes.
Like, so what do you think he was in your life? And tell me a little bit about what life is like now.
Hey, listen, Cuss was in my life. It's very difficult to say because this guy's in my life, and we were two guys. He was isolated he was in exile. He lost all his money. He was staying with his sister-in-law. He couldn't marry. He wanted to marry her, but he couldn't marry her because he had tax problems, and she would have to take on the tax problem, so he could never marry her. He was sad about that. He was really a miserable guy. And then with me up here, all he did was sell me dreams. He would tell me wonderful things, what we're going to accomplish and who we're going to be and how we're going to help people and what we're going to do. And you're the greatest fighter God created.
He said you kept him alive. We showed a video before you came in, him talking about your presence kept him alive. He said that there's a meaning in my life with Mike in my life.
I don't know about that. It's just that he put that fire in me, He had that time that he was tough and old and mean.
Yeah.
And he prepared that journey.
And you learned how to use, like you'd walk in the room, and the guys, you were 5'11", but you looked 5'10" because you're so square and powerful. And the guy would be like 6'4", and like your head was like down here.
Oh, man.
And you walk in and scare the shit out of him. How'd you do that? And then beat the shit out of him in the first or second round.
I was the cuss. I wanted to strip them of their souls.
Yeah.
That's what he taught me. I'm not no philosopher. This is what I've heard from him. He taught me this is what you do to other big, strong men.
And then it was for you, it was like, that's my job, right?
Yeah.
I'm paid for it. And you told me back then I learned how to turn it on, but you never turned it off.
No, I never did. I wanted the fights normally ended so quickly. I still wanted to fight after the fights. So I normally had fights after the fights. Somebody bum out, punch a guy in the club. Oh man.
Had so much adrenaline in your body.
Yes.
I know it's painful to see you did that, but it wasn't what your soul was about. That's the beautiful part.
Most of the time I didn't have no perspective of myself. I just looked at my idols, Jack Dempsey, all these guys, Kid Jockler, and I watched what they did. I watched what they said. Sometimes I said things that are really crude, and that's ironic sometimes. But I said because my hero said. They said in 1902, so it probably was. By the time they got it to the press in America, they had 100 fights since then. But right now, they ain't. With the way the world is, as soon as you say something, automatically it's around the world. So I would tell people that these guys are kids. I'm immortal. They can never beat me. How dare them challenge? And I would just say all these dreadful things. That's because I had a low self-esteem.
Yeah.
I would always talk down about others. I'll kill you next time.
Yeah.
And it was just all because I was afraid of losing.
Yeah. You said when you were interviewed back then in your 20s, people asked you what your edge was. And I remember I was really touched because I live by the same philosophy. You said, my edge is my willingness to sacrifice. Tell us about that.
Oh, absolutely. From custom models' perspective, I look at myself as nothing. I'm just pale, and I'm willing to do anything to myself to improve, to be the best. I'm willing to sacrifice my body. I'm willing to sacrifice my psychological health to just be the best in the world. And that's what really sacrifices. You really have to sacrifice your life, regardless if it's a marriage. Sometimes you have to sacrifice your life for a marriage or sacrifice your life for a goal you want to accomplish, and that's the goal the rule that I've always taken, is to sacrifice and be objective.
You used to say, though, that part of that sacrifice is you get up at 4 a.m. to run in the snow, and you told me back then, it's like, Tony, I do this because I know my opponent won't. Tell us a little bit, is that true?
It's all about sacrifice. I do what he's not willing to do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If you're running at 2 a.m. in the snow, in the blizzard, trust me, he's not going to want to do that. He's going to get on the treadmill.
Yeah.
And
you used to say that when we had those earlier conversations, I remember you saying to me, Tony, fighting's easy. It's like, I prepare, I train so hard that the fight feels like, it's easy. Was that true?
Exactly.
Because you trained so damn hard.
Exactly. That's why I had a lot of easy one-round knockouts.
Yeah. Pat Riley, was the Lakers, and he's a good friend of mine, now owns a piece of the Heat. And he told me when he was a kid that his dad had a neural implant with him, but also a coach. And a coach one time was screwing off, and he said, you look in my eyes, bro. He said, your opponent, there's somebody out there practicing while you're relaxing. One day you'll meet him. He will end you. And it gave him this drive. That drive to have the edge, did that come before Costamato, or is that Costamato?
No, well, Cus would tell me differently. He'd tell me everybody's goals and dreams and that their mother's sick of. My goals are winning. It'll be a lie because you're a god. He told me one of the really crazy things about me, but the reality of it is It was crazy, but I believed it.
And when did you start, like, as you got to this different stage of life, come out of prison and all the field experience and things of that nature, when did you start to realize you weren't the God?
Hey, I wasn't finished with God yet. I really thought he was me. So I got out of prison, so I'm really determined to be champion again because I'm gonna show everybody this wasn't a fluke. I'm gonna be champ again. They think this is over. I'm not gonna ever come back out again, and they're laughing at me and making fun of me. So I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna win the title again and have more money than everybody. And that's what happened. But after I accomplished that goal, there was nothing else to do, so everything went downhill.
Yeah, because I remember after we worked together, you worked with that tall white guy. I forgot the guy's name.
What's his name?
White Buffalo.
Oh, Francois Botha.
Yeah, because that's what we were preparing you for at the time. And you wiped him, I think, like in the 5th round.
Yes.
But after that, it started to just drop shortly. You fought some guys that weren't as good.
Yeah.
And then what did it do to your psychology when you didn't have that anymore? Like now, this has been your whole identity, and now you're not the God. Like, how did you deal with that?
That guy had to die. That guy had to no longer exist in my life in order for me to survive in the new world.
In the guy you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I could no longer. The guy from the past could no longer project anything kindly to my future.
Yeah.
So he had to die, and I had to be a different person.
At what stage did you start to feel you were the person you really are in your soul, in your heart, the man you are today? When did you start to really feel that transition after that guy died? Was there a moment when you felt like that guy really died?
Maybe. I had a 4-year-old daughter that passed away, and that's pretty much what the change for my life and stuff. I just didn't want to go out. I just didn't want to do what I was doing at that particular time. But I still couldn't make the transition. I couldn't make the transition, and that's when things were getting out of hand. And that's when I met Rob Hickman, and he introduced me to this medicine called the Toad. It has another scientific name. I don't know the name of
5-MeO.
Yeah, and
I've actually done 5-MeO in Brazil. It was one of the most powerful experiences of my life.
This is really interesting because when I was in your room, I believe it was downstairs, I saw a pineal gland picture. And I said, when I did the Toad and I was under the consciousness of the Toad, this is what I saw.
Well, that's why it's there, because I have the same experience.
Yeah, really? I thought I could have figured that. I was telling Rob, Rob, this is what I saw.
I've been able to help people with anything except...
I could never explain it, but I could see, and I said, this is what I saw.
That's why it's there. I had experience I've worked with millions of people. I could help them with any subject, but when it came to death, I just felt helpless, and I've never felt helpless to help people before. And I realized because I didn't have my own resolution about death. How do you resolve that? You've never experienced it. And I think a lot of my drive came from want to make every moment last. Who knows when you're going to go? That was like my entire driving force. And then I met this man, Tony Bossis. Some of the Platts have met him. He's from New York University. And he was dealing with people that are cancer patients who are terminal. And he said, Tony,